I am the most indecisive eater of all time. And secretly, I wish I could teleport around the planet and eat as many dishes in every country as I possibly could in a day. Obviously, that's impossible. But everything is impossible until someone does it. There is a place that they call the world's borough, and that exists in none other than Queens, New York. It has the Guinness World Record of the most ethnically diverse urban area in the world. So naturally, the food scene is equally as diverse. I think this might be my opportunity to make a dream a reality. So today I'm gonna be traveling there on a mission to explore as many different food cultures as possible and quite literally eat around the world culturally in 24 hours. I have a map of the world. Each country we eat at will be colored in, and by the end, I'll have as much of this map filled out as physically possible before midnight, starting with
America. And what better place than the best bagels in New York?
it's at Utopia.
Who wanted a sesame bagel?
I just wanted a normal one.
Oh, come on.
All right.
As I was saying, we are at Utopia Bagels to start our journey off with an absolute classic to represent America. But let's be clear, bagels were technically brought to the United States, and at this point, a great bagel has been perfected and is now synonymous with New York City. But nonetheless, this is Scotty. He is a bagel legend and truly one of a kind. We love him. Utopia is incredible for two reasons. They hand roll every single bagel still. I gave it a shot.
Perfect.
I needed to be babied a little bit. We got a bagel.
That came out really fast.
Thank you.
Not bad. And second, thousands of bagels are fresh baked all day, every day in one of the biggest ovens I've ever seen.
Gotta be crispy. Oh yeah, you hear that? Woo!
So we have my favorite bagel of all time, the everything bagel, classic cream cheese, lox, tomato, red onion, capers, sandwiched beautifully. Cheers. There's a reason they were voted the best bagel in New York. There's a lot of things to consider here. The crunch, the chew, the fragrance. You got that garlic, the onion, the toasty bagel flavor, and then immediately smoky salmon. That refreshing but also creamy, rich cream cheese. Everything's even. I like that.
That's important. We have a standard to keep up.
It doesn't get any better than this. That is a perfect quintessential bagel. This is just the first place and it's already off to a very strong start. Thank you to Scotty. You're a beast. We love you here. You know we love you. Oh my God, it's strong too.
I'm a hugger.
Moving on.
We're starting off with an unusual number for us, a 9 out of 10, a very rare number. Coming from me, I tend to be a little bit more hardcore about this. So if things are going up, are we gonna find our first 10 out of 10? We have one country down, I'm ready to fill out the rest, and by the end of this video, I'll name my favorite food in the world, or at least as far as we've been able to eat. But I can't do this tour alone. I had to bring the OG Queens tour guide, Joe DeStefano, to make sure we do Queens right. We returned to Flushing, Chinatown, where I recently found the best Chinese food in America. We start off with a very special dish that Joe introduced to one of the greatest food legends of all time. But who could it be?
We're at Old Lo Yang, Lang Pi, cold skin noodles.
You ate basically this style of noodle with Andy Bourdain. What was that like? What was the experience like?
He loved it. He was a good eater. Open-minded yet discriminatory, if that makes sense.
Looking for something good with no judgment.
I wanted him to have that authentic, only in Queens, almost in China kind of experience.
Oh yeah, this is perfect in every sense of the word. I love that it's cold, it's refreshing. You're full-time eating it, part-time drinking it. There's this sort of cold broth that's in the bottom. It's very even keel, it's refreshing, it's salty. It's got a little bit of spice to it. It's not too spicy. You can handle this. I'm getting little hints of toasted sesame oil.
That brown tone, that's actually tahini. So it's a very Central Asian kind of Silk Road, Western Chinese vibe.
I would say honestly a solid 9 out of 10. This is unbelievable. Even if I'm not in Flushing, I'm coming back here. Moving on.
Back-to-back 9s is unheard of. I don't know what is going on. This might just be the best food tour we've ever had. We now travel across the world from China to Guyana, but this fuzzy little hole decided to tag along.
Dude, this bee is f***ing crazy. How many motherfuckers are there here?
We are at Sybil's, which has been serving Guyanese food since 1976. Started out in the home of the founder, Sybil. Now it's carried on by her family. So certainly Guyanese food, but also little West Indian touches. It's deep.
So Mayim Loren is gonna join us later in this video, but he suggested that we get mac and cheese, goat curry. He says the greatest combo ever. I gotta try them by themselves first. We've got our mac and cheese with the curry, Mayim Loren special. Really nice combo. They do complement each other surprisingly well. I really like that. The curry itself is really nice though. I thought it was gonna be really spicy. It's really not. It's got soft, starchy potato.
It's very mellow, a little sweet, and like an undercurrent of heat.
That sweetness is coming from onions, the white potato, curry, spices. It's very nice.
The bangamari sandwich.
They say put a little bit of the Scotch bonnet sauce. I'm going light. Could be spicy. It's not too spicy at all. Out of here, man. God damn this bee. I'm gonna fucking crush it in my hands and eat it. All right. I can feel it crawling around on me. I'm just gonna stand for the rest of this. There's so many different flavors, so many different textures. They're all completely different, but my favorite one is the curry. I love it. I could definitely come back here. I think this was a powerful 8 out of 10. Everything was executed nicely, just could have used a little bit more salt, but the flavors were incredible. Mayhem knows what he's talking about. Let's go meet with him.
Now we're staying in the Caribbean, moving on to neighboring Trinidad and Tobago to try not one, but 2 more sandwiches to see which Caribbean sandwich will reign supreme.
We finally made it. We are here with the man himself, Mayhem Loren. Thank you for joining us. Can you guide us through what we're about to go through?
We're here at Trin City, best doubles in the world. This is kind of like my childhood in a roadie. Mine is original, just chickpeas, and I do tamarind pepper sauce. That's all I put on it, no more, no less. Josh got the boneless chicken, which is crazy. It's just another level of enhancement. Let's go.
That's crazy. So f***ing tender. I like the filet mignon of bread. The chicken's juicy. It's not too spicy. I was expecting it to be spicier.
I can help you out.
Help me out.
Don't go too crazy with that, though.
You just took it all the way up. If you're gonna come here and eat this, you cannot have this without the hot sauce. The flavor was already really well rounded. It's spiced. You get the texture of the chickpea, the juicy chicken, the soft bread. It's a little fatty, but not too fatty. It's nice and even keel.
It's just right. Give you a December body.
The spice, it takes it to another dimension. It's like you have all the building blocks and all the Legos of the house, but somehow the chili, the spice was a foundation to the house. You have to have it. Really good.
My first time having a double, and I'm ready for more. Easily a powerful 8.5. Guys, I want you to remember, especially if you're new here, my rating scale is very particular. Anything at a 7 or above is extremely high for me. I don't even know what's going on right now. This is not normal.
So next is bacon shark. So New York Times says this might be the best fish sandwich in all of New York. Cheers. That's unreal.
I got a question. This or Sybil's fish sandwich?
Oh, easy. This one. Both were good, but this one, they loaded it the f up. It's like twice the amount of fish. I love the sweetness of the pineapple. It's got some diversity to the flavor. The other one's a little more simple. It's not that it's not good. It's just that this one's got that extra pop to me. So you can't lose with either. If you didn't have time to go to both, pick one, not gonna have a bad day.
The Trin City Bacon Shark, another 8.5, and our Caribbean sandwich winner. Next up, across the Atlantic to West Africa. Mayhem put us on to a new Senegalese spot for jollof rice.
I usually go uptown for my Senegalese nutrients, but right now I found a new spot in Queens that appeared to be fire.
It's called Jollof Grill. According to Joe, it's kind of a big deal that they opened. I don't really know why.
There used to be a great Liberian restaurant called Mama's, and that's closed, and there really hasn't been any African food in Queens since then.
All right, jollof rice. Oh, unbelievable. We got the lamb, we got the onion. It's a little smoky from the grill. It's fatty, but not too fatty. Jollof rice, cooked perfectly, like perfectly. It's got that nice chew, but it's got a richness to it that I really like, but it's balanced. It's a little spicy from the hot sauce that I put on there. It's kind of like my ideal spiced rice, I feel like.
All was right in the world until an old nemesis returned.
The bees are after us, man. Don't sting me. Great dish, big fan. We're giving it a 9 out of 10. This is one of the first meats I've had that was cooked that perfectly.
Jesus, hopefully there's no bees in Germany and Poland, because our next stop serves food from both countries.
We are in Kew Gardens. We have cup pierogi, Polish food from Homestead, started by German folks, taken over by Polish. So now there's a mix of wonderful things, including these savory caramelized onion-topped pierogi.
They remind me of basket tacos in Mexico City. Very inconspicuous. It's just potato on the inside and a nice dumpling dough on the outside, but it's a little caramelized oniony, but it's got that essence of potato flavor.
Now, despite all that, I will say I've had better pierogies. They were overcooked, lacking in flavor in general. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to knock these down to a 7 out of 10. Still pretty high praise for my scale.
In true keeping with their Germanic roots, a cherry cheese strudel, we got the small one.
This is the small one. This weighs about 2 to 3 pounds, I wanna say. It's like a phyllo pastry. It's crispy on the outside, jammy, sweet, fruity inside. The cheese is almost like a cheesecake. A little bit more powdery, a little bit more dry.
Now, all that said, the more I ate it, the more I realized that the strudel overall was super dry. And honestly, the flavor was extremely underwhelming. It's gonna get a 6 out of 10.
Oh, what the hell?
Well, surprise, surprise. You know, shout out to Homestead. I know this piece was about Homestead, but I don't go on the block of Danny's without going to Danny's. We can't be here without you trying this.
Oh, shit.
I brought 2 of my favorite slices in the city. One plain, one pesto.
The underside, boom, fold, dink, sink. Oh, shit. It's very good. The crust is crisp. The dough is seasoned nicely. The sauce is sweet, but it's actually not too sweet. You know what? The energy for me was starting to dip a little bit. We started real heavy. A lot of carbs, fatty, rich. I started getting a little tired. I was like, oh God, how many places I got left?
Now this is like a vitamin injection. It's a B12 shot.
I'm like, oh. It's like the Holy Spirit just entered my body through the form of a beautiful pesto pizza.
And we got the first prize of the day. Couldn't have planned it any better.
Another American staple revitalizing me.
A 7.5 out of 10 for Danny's Pizza, a rejuvenating gift for Mayhem, who we now bid farewell, but we're continuing on with a much bigger task, Spice in Indonesia.
We are in Awang Kitchen, run by Chef Awang. It's an Indonesian restaurant in Elmhurst, Queens, which has a very large Southeast Asian population. It's got a great menu with a lot of great stuff. We chose the beef rendang because it's such a iconic Indonesian dish.
Let's try this rendang. And this just reminded me why it's one of my favorite curries of all time. The flavor is so diverse, rich, it's meaty, it's got some sweetness to it, it's got like a nuttiness to it, it's fragrant, it's spicy.
Rendang's a dish you have to try. It's one of my favorite of all time, but I gotta say, this one was way too dry. The flavor was easily a 9 out of 10, but the texture was a 3 out of 10. I'm gonna settle this with a total of a 6 out of 10.
Moving on.
Next up, Malaysia, and we've got a new guest.
This video is all about trying things we've never had before, going to places we've never experienced before through food. Now, we all remember Scott. He's from the pizza video. He knows everything about pizza, but he's never had laksa before, so this is gonna be his first time.
We are at Taste Good Malaysian Cuisine, one of the best Malaysian restaurants in New York City, and we have some wonderful coconut curry laksa with sambal for extra kick.
Unbelievable. This is a beautiful laksa.
The noodles are fat. I wasn't expecting that. I love that because it's such a tubby texture.
I would say like this is like a base flavor, but you can turn that flavor up with this sambal. Get some sambal in there, stir that up so it infuses the broth to a little bit of a spicier experience. Add some noodles maybe, some bean sprout, maybe some chicken, and then boom, you got a bite. Every bite for me is different. A little bit of chew, a little bit of noodle. So it adds layer to the flavor. It's already creamy. It's already seafood forward. I don't know what else is in there. There's coconut milk, I'm getting ginger, I'm getting a little bit of lemongrass, herbaceousness.
It's just like cool interplay with the creaminess of the broth and then adding in sambal. Two forces that seems like how can night and dark meet each other, but they do, and it's called dusk or dawn, and that's beautiful.
I just like that you said fat noodles and interplay. We can end the video right here. Moving on.
I'll give laksa a very solid 7 out of 10. My only complaint was I wish that there was a bit more salt. I wish the flavor was a little more deeper. It kind of tasted a little bit bland in comparison to other laksas I've had, but I could tell that if they just cooked it down a little longer, it would have been even better. But before we move on, we never asked, is Joe okay?
I'm feeling okay. My second cup of Malaysian iced coffee is doing the trick. I think I'm gonna make it.
Now we move north to Thailand for a dish that may make you forget pad thai.
We are here at Zab Zab in the heart of Elmhurst, Thai town on Little Thailand Way. It is one of the most critically acclaimed northeastern Thai restaurants in the United States. 3-star New York Times, Michelin Bib Gourmand. One of the reasons that they've done so well is this amazing dish, Lab Pet Udon, minced duck breast, galangal, liver, all sorts of goodies. There's some fried duck intestines, sticky rice. Get in there, guys.
I'm gonna start with a small wrap that I can fill up full. You can taste all the layers in one. The crunch, the soft, the chewy, the sort of fatty, but you're also getting layers of flavor. It's bright, it's funky, it's super herbaceous, which I love. It helps balance out the heat. It's spicy too, but not too spicy. I think most people could handle this as long as they use the herbs.
The combo with the heat from that and then mint and then the crunch over here, it's just like all the senses at once, and I'm so game for it.
I know this sounds crazy, but these little crispy duck intestines are absurd. Imagine the crispiest little chicken skin chip. You bite it, you close your eyes, it's crunchy, it melts, and then that nice roasted bird flavor is coming out of this. Unbelievable.
It's like I love the double-decker taco from Taco Bell. It's got the soft and the crunchy shell, and you get both.
Is this the crunch wrap of Thai food?
It kind of is. There's a moral of the story at this place. If you think you know Thai food, you probably don't. If all you are thinking about is pad Thai. This is a greater example of the variety that is in Thai cuisine. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet of different experiences in one dish. If you want an experience like this, go look for Northeast Thai. Look for Isan. You're gonna need to find something in that area. It'll be worth it.
Easy 8.7 out of 10. That is a high score, but not a winner.
We're not done. Moving on.
We're officially 10 countries in as we move on to Japan in the heart of the most diverse section of Queens we've been to yet, Jackson Heights.
There's only one place with Japanese food, 969. They have these awesome sort of rice sandwiches. You got the chicken one. Underneath that is the fried oyster.
I have never seen this exactly like this, but I mean, I love sandwiches. It's a sandwich.
I'm putting this in my mouth.
This is kind of a desert right now. I want to dip. I need moisture.
That's very orange. All right, we're moving on to the oyster one. This is Joe's favorite. Fried oyster, avocado, carrot, cabbage. Way better than the chicken. I love the brininess. Immediately, there's extra salt from the oyster. The chicken one was a little lacking in salt. It was a little lacking in moisture, but this one has the moisture. Some might say it's moister than an oyster. You know, if you like oysters, you like the taste of that refreshing splash of the ocean. You're getting that in this sandwich, but you're also getting the toastiness from the fry. Really nice. I like this.
I don't need the sauce on this one.
I will say, I don't think this is the best thing that we're gonna have. It's not crazy, it's not blowing my dress up. It's a good little snack, it's a good little lunch bite. I think I'm gonna set it at almost a 7 and a 6.8 on my scale, slightly above average. Let's find the good. Moving on.
The next place is extremely influential. We're going from Japan to Colombia to a place that put Queen Street food quite literally on the map.
If you're wondering why it's called Arepa Lady, look no further than the walls over there where we can see the OG Arepa Lady, Maria Piedad Cano. In the 80s, she was an administrative judge in Medellin, Colombia, and it's probably not a good time to be there, so she left as a single mom with her family, came to the mean streets of Queens where she learned how to make arepas and gained a lot of fame doing that. We have 2 arepas here. This is an arepa de queso, so it's kind of like a corn cake with some cheese topped with chicken beef chorizo, queso fresco. This is arepa de choclo with sausage and some steak and fresh corn in the batter. So there's a lot of sauces. I like to put them all on. The condensed milk is better on this one.
I did the pineapple and condensed.
Those were the 2 I was most excited about.
I'm gonna take a little triangle, look at this. This is completely different than I expected. I was expecting something very savory, very salty. This is a little bit more sweet. It is savory sweet. It's got sort of a custardy, thick texture, crispy, sear on the outside, cheese on the inside's nice and melted. The sausage on top is really beautifully seared, but I feel like I need more salty punch. That said, this was my favorite. This sort of like flapjack, crunchy on the outside, chewy on the inside. It's a little more savory.
I like that, but my favorite of the 2 is this one, just because it was kind of weird. The texture of it was like between soft and chewy and crisp on the outside, and I love the sauces on top. I just feel like I'm eating dessert. I definitely would come back here.
God, I'm full. But we're only getting started. We have a lot more to go, so I'm gonna give this a solid 7. Moving on.
Scott experienced a lot in his time with us, but as beautiful and lovely as he is, look at him. I mean, come on. We must bid him farewell.
How did it feel?
Exploring the world without going too far. Awesome to do that in Queens, the most diverse place on the planet. You know, I eat a lot of pizza, and I love trying something else. I felt like I was cheating on my love, so I have a new mistress, and its name is Queens.
All right, get the hell out of here, Scott.
Bye.
We're 11 restaurants in, and I feel a little transformed, maybe?
The funny thing is I don't feel sickly full, but like I can feel like my stomach. You look big. Yeah, I'm very bloated right now. This is like rock hard. This is literally like a f***ing boulder. But I feel weirdly good, which I feel like is bad. Is that bad? Is that bad?
Bad or not, it doesn't matter. We continue forward. We must do right by this. Onward to Pakistan for a dish some I consider a little bit extreme, if you didn't know.
Years ago, I had the good fortune of taking Andrew Zimmerman here for the Bizarre Food Queens episode, and we ate katakat, which is goat offal, brain, kidney, liver. Then they mix it with fresh ginger, mustard oil, chili. It is a flavor sensation.
I've cooked almost every single cut of meat. I know the different kinds of offal. I've done kidney, liver, brain. I've had brain that's been great. I've had brain that's been sh**. And the simple reality is I never get that excited to eat offal. It's always a mixed bag, so I don't know what to expect, but there's only one way to find out how it's gonna be. So let's build it then, yeah? Grab a little naan, little scoop. This is really good. All the flavors are nice and homogeneous. You're getting the meaty, unctuous, sort of like roasty goat flavors. It's not really that spicy, but it's well spiced. It's fragrant, it's fresh. I'm really picking up the ginger. So it's like very bright, and the flavor in particular was what I was worried about. I was like, it's gonna taste like iron, but no, this is clean.
Part of the reason for that is that the meat comes from their adjoining butcher shop right here.
It's very hard to get people to try organ meat. Honestly, this is a great place to start.
It's funny too because it has so many in there.
It's only that. This is unbelievable. I'm shocked. I really am. This has made me reassess how much organ meat I eat. I want to find ways to eat it more. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Very rarely do I go above a 6 on offal. We're not done. We have to fill out this map. Moving on. The sun is set. We're moving on to the night section. I wish we were done, but I said we were gonna fill out as many places as we could on the map. I don't want to eat anymore, but I do know there's some really exciting stuff ahead that might make it worth it. Let's find out.
A strong score for Pakistan, and it makes sense, but will India steal the spotlight with 2 more dishes that I've never even had before?
We're here at Raja's Sweets and Fast Foods, one of the best North Indian vegetarian restaurants in New York City.
How's it going? Oh, it's your birthday?
But we're having dessert, starting with vegetables. Gajra halwa, it's a carrot mash with some lovely ghee.
That's nice. It's buttery, sugary, sweet. Is there condensed milk in there or no?
I think there's ghee and milk, so it's very buttery, very
Yeah,
rich. I
eating
understand
that
why
flavor.
you would say that.
It gives kind of a new perspective on carrot. I like it. We're on the jalebi.
You know, it's like a funnel cake, flour soaked in sugar water. They fry it, then they dip it in sugar water and it soaks into it. So it's nice and crunchy and juicy.
Whoa, I really like that. This is kind of like eating honeycomb if honeycomb had the texture you wanted it to. Have you ever eaten honeycomb?
Wax in your mouth.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this wasn't very nice. This is what you kind of imagine honeycomb to be. It's first you get an initial crunch through this ultra thin crispy layer and then into the chewy, sugary mass on the inside. It floods your mouth with sweetness. It's almost like a chewy, candied funnel cake. Really nice, I like it. I'm getting on the edge. I'm not gonna lie, I am so full, I really don't wanna eat anymore. I'm in physical pain. We're gonna keep going until we drop. 7.5 out of 10, very nice, good dessert, and moving on.
All right, I might have spoken too soon because Mexico is next. And if you see me in Mexico City, I found out that I apparently have more room in my body for tacos than any other food on earth, which is great.
We are at Birrialandia, the originator of birria tacos in New York City. 2-star New York Times, lo mejor, the best. But Jose used to cook at Del Posto, so he knows a lot about slow cooking meat, and he decided to open this. They were originally going to sell other types of tacos, but the birria took off, and he's trapped in Birrialandia now.
I had a one-bite rule. I went the out the window just now. This is top tier. The first thing you're gonna notice with these birria is the tortilla. It's so crisp, it's so tender, it snaps, but it's got that chew. It really does melt away like it should. And there are very, very few birria tacos that do that. But on top of that, you're equally drinking it as much as you're eating it. Even in the meat itself, it's so saturated with juice. The dip just gives it that extra oomph. Salty, fatty. It's not so fatty that you're just like, oh God, it's so heavy. It's not too spicy. I mean, it's a damn near perfect birria. Out of all the birria that I've had, I'm gonna compare this to the one that I had in Mexico City, which was absolutely excellent. I'm gonna give this a powerful 8.5 out of 10. I feel like it could have used a little more salt, but everything else was perfect. This was already moist, and you added more moisture, which is what a birria should be. Moving on.
From Mexico all the way up to Nepal, I'm excited about this one because Banchagar are known for their massive dumplings called momos.
There's an event called the Momo Crawl, which winning it is far more prestigious than being in the New York Times. There's probably almost 40 restaurants that serve momo, and we are in the winningest place. They won that championship leather belt above the kitchen.
The fact that there's a belt, it's like a WWE championship of momo, which I love. I like that she's here watching us too. She's like, I'm gonna stand here and you're gonna enjoy every last bite.
Momos are sort of a standard bearer of Tibetan and Nepali food, typically steamed, but these are in jol, or a tomato gingery broth.
So I also want to be clear, like I love dumplings, never had momo, and I've certainly never had it like this, but I'm just gonna try the broth first. Oh yeah, little spicy, little sweet, little acidic, balanced, brothy, tomatoey, herbaceous, almost borderline citrusy, but I want to say that's from like the ginger or something in it.
Is there lemon in here?
Lemon, tomato, and sesame seed.
Oh, sesame, like ground sesame.
That's how it gets viscosity to it. Okay, should we go for it? Wow, holy really good.
A go-to winter food for me, you can imagine.
This is probably some of the best dumplings I've ever had in my life. I'm not surprised that we've got a champion in the house. Unbelievable, thank you. When we leave, can I give you a hug?
I give you a hug, I take a picture with you.
Thank you, Bimla. This is so good.
This seems unfair to have my first momo here.
You may have Momo FOMO unless you come to New York. You may be ruined.
Maybe that was the way it was meant to be. Bimla, I need my hug. Oh, thank you, Bimla. So good. Unbelievable. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you, namaste. Holy f***ing shit. That was a 9.5 out of 10. The dough was cooked perfectly. A lot of the time when it comes to stewed dumplings, you get a little bit of overcooking that happens. Al dente. We got a train coming. It was excellent. We're out of here. Moving on next.
We're 16 countries in. I've been eating all day. My body hurts, my brain hurts, my legs hurt, my stomach is full, and Momo is taking the lead. And they're high up there on the rating scale. We're gonna need arguably one of the highest ratings we've ever gotten to unseat them. So the first crack at that goes to Korea. But first, time for a check-in.
This is Thai herbal inhaler Wakey Wakey.
What does it do?
Makes you feel refreshed. It doesn't seem to be working for some reason right now.
Didn't do. This was not a bad idea. I am in pain. But just because you're in pain doesn't mean that whatever you were doing was a bad idea. Maybe you were having fun and you caused the pain yourself. I'm talking to me.
It is definitely taking its toll. My stomach had jet lag before, now it's got culture shock. I'm very confused. You want to do it all in one day and keep pushing, but the flesh is weak.
Wow. Jesus. Out of all the things that I've eaten, I ate a little too much. I got a little bit overzealous, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm hitting a point where I don't know how much more I can go. I've gone past the point of like, oh, I'm so full. It hurts. Love you. I love you too. For sure, bro. For sure, appreciate that. You too, bro. I'm gonna keep going as much as I can, but I might only have one more left in me. Let's find out. It's been a long day. We finally made it. KFC, but not the typical KFC, Korean fried chicken. Tell us about it, Joe.
We are in the most diverse neighborhood, in the most diverse borough, yet this is the only place serving Korean fried chicken. There is a neighborhood about 30 blocks that way that is a hotbed of Korean cuisine, including several wing places. This ranks right up there with them.
So we came to the right place. Let's try the chicken. We've got a soy garlic over here, traditional sort of gochujang spicy. Let's dig in. Very nice. At first I was skeptical. I saw them from afar, granted dimly lit, and was like, I don't know. Yeah, I was wrong. Extremely good. They've clearly been sitting in the sauce just for a little bit, covered up, and they're still crispy. They've got that pop. They've got that melt in your mouth fatty chicken flavor. It's spicy, it's sweet, and they're tender too. Juicy, succulent, it's falling apart. That is a very solid wing. I love it. Soy garlic. It's still got some sweetness, no heat. If you are a hardcore wing person, you're eating the hot. If you're a little more relaxed, a little more chill, you have your pinky up when you're eating your little wing, go for the soy garlic. This is a tough one. I feel like it could use a bit more salt, a bit more spiciness. It feels a little more sweet, a little more savory, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocked on my back. I can walk and talk and eat these all day. This is great late night food. Out of all the Korean wings I've had in my life, I'd give this one a solid 7.5. I was getting tired, but the chicken's in my body. It's funny. They say unidentified flying chicken. That's what UFC stands for. Well, that thing's flying around in my stomach, and I'm ready to fly on to the next one. You got it? Moving on.
My wings have taken me to Bangladesh, and one dish has things to say popping off.
This is unreal. There's 8 food carts all in a line, and they're all serving the exact same thing. Each individual cart says, I am the original. So who is it really? I don't know. We're gonna pick one and go.
I know that this and Fuska House are the original, but I think it's all lost in the mists of masala, who was actually first. Fuska, it's a semolina shell filled with potatoes, a little bit of chickpeas, some red onion, that lovely black salt, and we pour a little Fuska water into it.
Literally a flavor explosion. It's very nice, it's mellow. Immediately apparent, you get that crispy, crackly crunch, almost like a chicharron. And then the juice, I don't know what's in there, but it's a little sweet and it just explodes. You know, almost like the birria in a way, but with a crunchy application. Soft potato, little pieces of chickpea in there. It's fragrant, there's some spices in there that are reminiscent if you've ever eaten Indian food. But they're also very different because of the tamarind, because of the black salt, whatever the spices that are in the potato to make it something special. I love it.
This is a solid 7 out of 10. 18 countries in, and I gotta be honest, there was a rapid downhill at this point. I'm in need of a pick-me-up. And you might be thinking, oh, maybe a coffee. No, dude, it's too late for that. More food from Ethiopia, which I'm thinking might deliver. We're at Makina, a food truck where chef and owner Eden met us to teach us all about her Ethiopian dishes.
Makina Cafe started in 2017. We were actually the first Ethiopian Eritrean food truck in New York City, and we have a restaurant that we're building.
Wow, okay, what do we have?
It is chicken and beef dips together with our staple veggies, turmeric, cabbage, and carrots, spicy red lentils, over injera. Traditional flatbread that has a sourdough taste to it. Go dig in.
You know what's funny? I'm a big protein guy. I also love vegetables, don't get me wrong, but out of all the things on this plate, the lentils really stand out to me. For me, I would say spice level is very nice, it's enjoyable, and it's also adding to the rest of the plate, right? I get a little bit of heat in my mouth, perfect. Now I can enjoy some chicken. The chicken's nice and delicate, it's just right. The beef is nice, seasoned nicely, a little bit of heat from the jalapeno. Perfect combo of the usage of pepper and onion. A little bit of caramelization on the onion too, so that adds some depth of flavor. But what I really like about this plate is not only is it good, it's hearty, but you feel good.
Most of the time when people think about healthy, you're skipping out on the flavor, but African food is ancient cuisine, so it has a ton of nutrition and it's full of flavor.
I've been eating all day and I'm not sure if I'm gonna survive. This might have given me the little bit that I needed to know it's gonna be okay. So thank you.
This was a solid 8 out of 10. Truly rejuvenating. Generally speaking, I do wish there was a little more salt in some of these things, but this was very nice. I enjoyed it. So let's keep moving as we head to our official 20th country, Canada.
I'm very excited about this one. We're at Huntress in Astoria. We are having poutine.
Canadian food is almost or as rare as African food is in Queens.
French fries, Wisconsin cheese curds, and they say that the gravy is a amalgamation of the many great things that the owner, who is from Montreal, enjoyed. Oh yeah. I've never been to Canada, but I've had good poutines in my life to know what a good one is, and I've had mostly bad ones. This is not one of those. The fries, super crunchy. They haven't lost their texture, their body. A lot of the time when you get poutine, the #1 problem, you're getting flaccid potato straws. The cheese curds are soft, but not too soft. They got some chew. Doesn't need a lick of more salt. The gravy, it tastes great. If you're looking for a good poutine anywhere near Astoria, this might be one of the only places you'll get, and it's solid. Matter of fact, this poutine I think deserves an 8 out of 10. I'm pretty picky about French fries. I wanna be really clear on that. I'm not just being nice here because it's a French fry. I'm feeling even better. I think I'm on an upward trajectory here. Let's move on to the next spot.
I'm pumped for country number 21, Greece. There's always space for souvlaki as long as we, stick to just that.
I'm sure this whole time you're probably wondering, Josh, where's the Greek food? We didn't forget. I know we're gonna get other complaints, but we're not gonna skip out on the Greek food.
We are here at King Souvlaki in Astoria. Lampros' father started this, and his uncle has a little cart with just a little red siren on it. Now it's grown into quite an empire with half a dozen trucks and a restaurant.
We got the pork souvlaki, they gave us feta fries, yogurt sauce, and I combined all three.
Meat's grilled nicely, nice char. It's not dry. A lot of the time you see that with skewers, these guys know what they're doing. Simply seasoned, which I like. The oregano comes through, and the fries are a nice accompaniment. When you're putting something in pita, if you're not putting fries and sauce in there, you're f***ing up. I feel the love in my heart, but I feel lead in my stomach. I'm literally hunched over right now because I am in pain. I've asked politely for everybody to just let us try one thing. But the food world, we're about love, and I appreciate that. But I can't eat all this. And I feel like every country is trying to make it my last country. I love you, but give me a breather, please.
This is solid. Flavors are straightforward, it's simple, but I will say, some of it was overcooked. The guys were super nice. Maybe it was just a busy service. Generally speaking, I'm gonna give it a rating around 6.5 out of 10. Now we're moving on to country 22, Dominican Republic. And I've been told, supposedly, this is the greatest late night sandwich in the world. Heavy quotations on that. So we'll see about that.
We are in Corona, which used to be really Italian-American, and it's become very Dominican, as evidenced by Chimitos, which is, I believe, the only standalone chimmy sandwich spot. This is a wonderful Dominican street food.
The best person to describe it is the man himself who made it and owns this place.
We always do the burger, with cabbage, white onions, ketchup mayo, green tomato. This is our signature, I didn't invent it, but I do the best.
Dedicated to the chimmy, you heard it here.
I'm so full, and yet we still got 2 sandwiches. The classic beef pork chimmy and the breakfast version, which sounds insane.
Really nice. This is a nice hearty pork and beef sausage. The crunch from the bread, it's light, it's airy, it's seasoned beautifully. Fatty, but not too fatty, it's meaty.
It's surprisingly light. The veggies, so fresh.
This is excellent. We have the original. I do want to try the other one.
This is the breakfast variant, named after Chef Corpus. Fried salami, fried cheese, and egg.
Whoa. Joe, I'm gonna take my pants off.
Thank you for warning me.
This right here is my kind of sandwich. It's rich, it's not too rich, it's fatty. There's a billion different textures in this. It's creamy, it's balanced with the sweetness, the crunchy bread, it's light. So I could eat this any time of the day, but it does kind of feel like the perfect late night food. No notes. 9 out of 10, moving on.
Coming out of Dominican Republic and going into Brazil, 22 countries in. This map is getting pretty full. Can we fill out the whole thing? We're gonna have to move quick here because we're running out of light, restaurants are closing, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if my body can take much more. I'm really feeling it here. A tap out could be coming. The question is, when will that happen? Or will it ever? And let's not forget Bimla's delicious momos. I mean, unbelievable. And she's so cute. Could they be overtaken by Brazilian street food?
I feel like my stomach is so full of food that every time I swallow, my body is like, Josh, please stop. We have cochinha. Originally we were gonna do pão de queijo. Unfortunately, they ran out. But this is a great alternative, I think. One stuff with chicken and cheese. Let's start with the OG chicken, shall we, yeah?
Brazilian food is actually biggest in Astoria. I'm pretty sure this is the only place offering these kind of street foods, though.
You know what he said to me in the car? He said, you say everything's undersalted, Josh. And you know what? That's because most things are. This, on the other hand, this is seasoned really nicely. The chicken that's on the inside is juicy, but it's got a good meaty texture. The crunch is nice, they're super crisp. God damn, I have not been exposed to Brazilian food enough. This is really good.
When it comes to Latin American street foods, I love something sort of like snacky like this, like an empanada, and this is like solid for that.
If I were to compare this to other Latin street foods that are out there, this is almost like a Brazilian arancini.
I was just gonna say, the cheese one is giving arancini really heavily.
And I love that there's like a little bit of chili, there's that Latin flavor that comes through. There's sort of a marriage between those two worlds that I'm really liking a lot. I'm not just blowing smoke up there. I'm having a lot of fun, but there are parts of my body that are not having fun. And I'm still giving these an 8.5. Brazil, we love you. On to the next.
And so we move across the world again to our 24th country, the Philippines. One of my favorite cuisines on earth. I'm gonna do my best to not be biased here.
We're at Iwan in the heart of Little Manila, Woodside, Queens. This is one of the first Filipino sit-down restaurants. They are famous for their pork barbecue, and God, it looks good.
I would have eaten a number of different things to represent Filipino food because there's so many different things that I love. I'm kind of glad we're diversifying a little bit here with the grilled pork skewer. Let's dig in. top tier. This just proves the Filipino cuisine is just top tier food in its simplest form, because they have so many different things. There's lechon, sinigang, tocino, and every single thing is a f***ing banger, and this is too. I haven't even had this before, and it's just another thing to add to the list. And it's so simple. You get the little crispy charred bits that are smoky, and the glaze is sweet but not too sweet. It's seasoned perfectly, it's juicy, it's not dry at all. It's nice and chewy.
And let's not forget Bimla's delicious momos. Could they be overtaken? I don't know.
This is a solid 9.5 out of 10 skewer. I know it's really high, but I love simple food done perfect, and that is what this is.
24 countries in under 24 hours. And despite the pain of constantly putting another bite in my mouth, people always joke and comment, Josh, why do you put yourself through this? It's almost a spiritual experience that I would suggest to anybody. It's pushing yourself to the brink and not really just being pulled into the next bite because of the flavor that's there, but because of the unbelievable cultures that are behind these flavors. And I was thankful and grateful to experience as much as I had in a day. I'm full. I'm really full.
I think we're gonna have to stop here, guys. I cannot eat another bite, but I need to announce my favorite one. It's a tie between the Philippines and Nepal. That doesn't mean that they're the best in the world, but they're my favorites that I had.
But every bite, every flavor was 100% worth it. And I'm amazed at how much we filled out the map. There's a lot left, but this journey doesn't stop with me. This was never about me. I want you to go out and try something new from a country you've never even heard of, maybe never even thought of. Taste the world for yourself. Some of the greatest foods in the world exist outside of your comfort zone.
Bye, love you, subscribe.